joining us now. One of our favorites, NFL great, played for the Broncos for a ton of years and helped win a lot of games there in Denver as a safety with the Broncos. And now working in the media in Denver and is a great follow on Twitter as well. Nick Ferguson, kind of enough to join us. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing well, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Always good catching up with you. And again, you can follow Nick on Twitter at @NickFerguson_25. As a Broncos fan, I remember you played some time with the Jets too, right?
Yes, I did. Those were my early days with Bill Parcells.
Oh, how was it like playing for Bill?
It was very intense, very professional, and I'm giving you the PC version
there you
of
go.
it. But you know what? Playing for Bill Parcells, either you're going to run forward or you're going to tuck your tail between your legs, and he found out really quickly what you were made of.
Wow, I bet. There's no place to hide when he's your coach, I'm sure.
No place to hide at all.
So I want to get your thoughts. You're a great follow on Twitter, and as a Broncos fan, I kind of keep close tabs on a lot of members of the Broncos media, but also your take on the Shedeur Sanders thing. You're in Denver. You watch Shedeur play a little bit at his time in Colorado. He's not a fifth-round quarterback, is he?
No, he's not. Regardless of what individuals tell you, he's not. Is he the most athletic guy? No. How many quarterbacks really are? When you think about Cam Ward, is Cam Ward the most athletic guy in the NFL right now? No, he's not. And quarterbacks are measured based on arm strength. And it bugs the hell out of me when I hear that because there's more that goes into playing the quarterback position than just that. And for me, I don't focus on the quarterback's arm. It's more or less his feet. And can he make the anticipatory throws? And can he make those throws outside the pocket on the move? Because we all know that pocket is going to get muddy. And when I look at Shedeur and I hear the things about, well, because he's making rap songs, he doesn't love football. I'm like, no, that's not true. That just means that someone is uber talented and they're trying to maximize that talent, so we shouldn't hold that against him. But I've been in Boulder firsthand to see Shedeur get injured, go in at halftime, get a shot, and come back out. That's a guy that loves the game of football. And when you look at the fact that over the 2 years he was with the Buffs, the numbers he put up offensively, he wasn't supported by an offensive line that could protect him, neither by a run game because the Buffs' run game ranked the worst in college football, averaging 65 yards a carry. And we all know the friend of a quarterback is an offensive line and a positive run game. So I saw Shedeur do a lot of things that you would require of your quarterback in the NFL, but I don't know, and we will never know the main reason as why he dropped so far.
So when you look at one of the other things that I thought you had some really good opinions on was the prank call, and I think a lot of people, because I was pretty strong against it, and then I got some pushback like, hey, look, it's a dumb kid, he made a dumb mistake, let's just move on. But you know what it's like to go through draft day and not get your name called, and what those emotions are like. I can't imagine somebody toying with the emotions of already what has been a crazy day for you. It
is, and I'll put it to you guys this way and your listeners. Imagine all your life you were waiting to get married. You get to the altar, your family and your friends are there. Everyone is standing there. Then next thing you know, when they play the song for the bride to come down, she doesn't come down. Someone walks up to tell you, guess what? You got a runaway bride. She doesn't want to marry you. She changed her mind. That is something that I can equate and say that's the comp to being in this situation. All of these players, not just Shedeur, you work your hardest to get to this point. And everyone is waiting to have their name called. And we know a lot of guys did not get their name called. But it's a big deal when you have your name called and the team actually calls you on the phone. For someone to rob you of that moment, that is a problem. I don't care what the Falcons say about, Jax Albridge unintentionally finding the number. There's no unintentional idea about it. You made the phone call. You recorded it. It was out there. That's a problem. You stole the moment from Tyler Warren last year, Cooper DeJean, this year, Shedeur Sanders. That's wrong for anyone to do that just to go viral and have a prank moment for them and their buddies to kind of sit around and laugh at. That's not cool at all.
No. Nick Ferguson joining us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I think a lot of us thought the Broncos would go early offense in the draft. Instead, they went defensive back. Give me your thoughts on the Broncos draft overall. And there's an old adage, add strength to strength. That was already a good defense. It seemed like they added to it, especially there in the first round.
Yeah, you know what? I was surprised by that as well. Because I thought that they would go running back. If they didn't go running back, they would move back to collect picks. But I started to get some kind of inclination that maybe they would go defensive heavy in the draft, but never thought that they would take a player on the defensive side in the first round. And the thing that gave me that indication, about 2 weeks before the draft, George Paton and Sean Payton had a pre-draft press conference. And Sean Payton was pressed on, well, are you allowing Bo Nix to be a part of the draft process? Are you listening to him? Are you talking to him? And Sean pushed back all three times, and he said all three times the best way to help your quarterback is through the defense. And I was wondering, did anyone else hear what he just said? Because it really spoke to me, but I didn't know they were going to make this move. But, yeah, you add strength to strength. And for me, guys, I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 80s show MacGyver.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I did all last season. I looked at the Broncos defense and I called them MacGyver because anytime the Broncos needed a play, the defense made a play. And that helped Sean Payton and Bo Nix. So for me, adding Jahdae Barron only added to MacGyver because you're just giving more tools for Vance Joseph to deploy within his defensive scheme. Is going to make him better because more teams have athletic tight ends. They have 11 personnel. When you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs and the arsenal that they have, you have to be able to match up. And I'll tell you guys, and your Broncos, loyal Broncos listeners in Utah, the thing that kind of tilted this in Barron's favor, you had to go back to the last game that we saw of the season when the Buffalo Bills played the Denver Broncos. The Broncos were pushed around. There was not a lot of physicality. They didn't really match up. And I felt as though George Paton and Vance Joseph, they wanted to do some things different. And to me, they got better, even though people look at the draft and compare it to other teams in the AFC West and say, well, the Broncos didn't have a great draft, and let's give out, draft grades. I don't believe in draft grades. You know what? You know when you give out draft grades, gentlemen? When we look back in next year, come 2026 in January and February, that's when we give out draft grades to see what these players did, how much of the young players contributed to the team on either side of the ball. But I think the Broncos did a great job in checking all the boxes. Now you have to get these guys in the building, and now it's on the players to show their production on the field.
You played with, arguably, and frankly, in my opinion, not much of an argument, one of the best corners to ever play the game in Champ Bailey. So when you have that side of the field locked down, much like Patrick Surtain can do now with the Denver Broncos, that puts a lot of pressure to the other side of the field on that other corner. And if you draft somebody high that has the ability to be able to maybe not be Patrick Surtain, but be a lot closer than perhaps others may be currently on the roster, I got to imagine that's a big point of emphasis as well.
Yeah, it was a point of emphasis because keep this in consideration, guys. Last year, right before the Broncos played the Cincinnati Bengals, Riley Moss was dealing with some injuries. Now, in my opinion, he came back entirely too soon. And with that being said, he still played well, and T. Higgins is a great receiver, and so is Joe Burrow being a great quarterback. They just kind of exploited it and took advantage of it. And that's not to say that Riley Moss can't play or I don't have any confidence in him. I have all the confidence in the world because keep this in mind. That was officially Riley Moss's first year. His originally rookie year, he didn't play because he was injured, but that was his first year playing corner for the entire year, and the kid actually raised his level of play. Bringing in Jahdae Barron, it doesn't really change anything. They don't miss a beat. You're just adding more competition, and just in case someone gets injured, you have a plug-and-play guy. But once again, Jahdae Barron gives the defense a multitude of different things that they can do. They can run more pressure packages because they can run more man-to-man coverage. So that means the ball's got to come out quick with the quarterback. And as we say in the secondary, when you put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, tips and overthrows, got to get those. And those turnovers lead to more possessions for pay dirt for Bo Nix and Sean Payton.
Former Bronco great and current media member there in Denver, one of our favorites, Nick Ferguson, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Nick, you played in the Antonio Gates era there in San Diego. When you have a guy with a basketball background that can high point a ball and brings height and athleticism, Caleb Lohn, I know, didn't do a lot, but in his first year playing football at the University of Utah last year, but I think all of us saw the athleticism and what he could bring to the table. I think, and again, we're a little biased here because we watched him play basketball at BYU and then football at the University of Utah, but I think he got a good one there.
Yeah, you do, and we've seen that trend come into the NFL, and coaches love comps, and the comp for Lohn would be Jimmy Graham based on his basketball background. And Sean Payton loves those guys because, for me, I played against Gates, and I had Tony Gonzalez and so many other tight ends. And when you get that big body shielding you off, to me, that's like me trying to play in the paint against Nikola Jokic. He's going to box me out every time. And now that the Broncos have Evan Ingram, it gives an opportunity for Lohn to come in and just be that spot guy. Just go 5 yards, find a soft spot in the zone, post up, flash your numbers, and there's an instant touchdown or you moving the ball. So it's an excellent opportunity for him. And usually when a guy gets drafted in the 7th round, usually you think that, well, the odds are kind of against him. But the Broncos last season with their tight ends, they were not really productive. When Nate Atkins, who is a fullback who wants to be called a tight end, kind of leads your group in touchdown receptions, that's a problem within itself. So I want to see how Lohn comes in, how he fits with the offense, but he could possibly be a really productive piece for the Broncos offense.
So our producer, Lloyd Cole, who contacted you this morning about hopping on, he's a diehard Raiders fan. It may pain you to say this, but where are you at on the Ashton Genty move, and how good of an offseason does it appear that the Raiders have had? Because it looks like they're vastly improved.
For me, look, I'm a Broncos through and through, but real recognize real. And Ashton Genty, in my opinion, was a dog of a running back. And what I mean by that, all you had to do is just watch him run. I know a lot of people didn't give him a lot of credit because of the conference he was in. But to me, when you know that you are the bell cow back, the opposing defense know you're going to get the ball, and they still can't do anything with you, that says a lot. And now you have Geno, who's a smart player. You have Chip Kelly, who knows the league inside and out. And then you got a tight end in Brock Bowers, who's going to create a lot of favorable boxes, right? That's what you want. You want a favorable box. You want to get those linebackers outside the box so you can run the ball. And when you know you got a guy with Genty who can run with power and he can run through contact, that's going to be a problem. That's why when I look at what the Broncos did, adding Dre Greenlaw, adding Hufanga, adding Jahdae Barron, they did that as to help them in the areas of running. And here's a note. I mean, Dre Greenlaw is going to be out for 8 weeks with a torn quad muscle. So the Broncos are going to have to make sure that Justin Chouinard, Drew Sanders, and other guys are ready to go playing against Ashton Genty because they're going to earn their paycheck when they play against the Raiders.
Do you see the Chiefs coming back down to earth, or are they still business as usual going into next season?
Oh, no, they are back down to earth, right? And the reason I say that is you just look at what happened to them in the Super Bowl, right? Offensively, what Jalen Hurts was able to do, Saquon Barkley, but more importantly, knowing as though Vic Fangio was able to generate a lot of pressure with only 4 guys. And this is why the Chiefs went out and tried to address issues on the offensive line. So they have somewhat come back down to earth. But the one thing I know about Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid as competitors, they're going to take that as a challenge. So don't think that all of a sudden they're so back down to earth that they don't have any rocket boosters to propel them forward. No, they have that certain level of confidence. But here's a team that's been punched in the mouth. The recipe has been shown for how you do it, and you definitely have to do it on the defensive side, which is another reason why the Broncos chose to go Jahdae Barron, in my opinion, opposed to going running back.
Nick Ferguson, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Nick, always a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. We appreciate it, and let's do it again here soon.
All right, go Broncos.
There he is, Nick Ferguson, right here on The Zone.